Once again, on behalf of Expediter Services, Success in Trucking, we want to welcome you and thank you to this dinner. I know many of you, as I scan the audience, I know many of you we've had conversations with. There's many that I don't know. So for those people, my name is Jeff Tacker. I'm the Executive Vice President, Chief Operating Officer, Chief Commercial Officer for our company. I'm going to be making some introductions through our company so you'll know who we are, and then we'll move into some other topics. Paul Williams, our CEO and Chairman of the Board and co-founder, is not able to be with us tonight, but he wanted to make sure that I sent a personal welcome and a thank you to each one of you for attending. So Paul will be watching our video, and he wants to make sure that y'all know that he is here in thought. Sorry he couldn't make it. We started in the expedite industry in 2006, and I want to walk through some of the things of our market evolution and branding evolution of the things that's taken place, but I would like people to know that we started in 2006 with a handful of trucks, and it was just in expedite. We have moved and expanded into tractors, and if you see, we went from Expediter Services with the logo, and then we went to ES with the Expediter Services below it as we expanded into more tractor base, and then as we broadened into the general truck market, we had to go to Success in Trucking. But no one needs to misunderstand the fact that Expedite is near and dear to our heart. And as you'll hear in a few moments when Jason gets up to give the view of the company and some thoughts and visions, that we are not pulling away from Expedite nor moving out. We do love Expedite industry. We are thankful for it. We are appreciative of it, and it's still a thriving and viable segment of the industry. We just need to make sure that we nurture that so we don't lose our identity inside of the transportation market. But we started with a handful of trucks. And today, I would like to say that our total community has in excess of 14,000 units in our community. 14,000, so I want that to sink in. 14,000 units, and we started with 8 trucks, then 16, and then Paul and Jason ordered 100. And from there, we continue to grow. Now, all of those trucks are not under one segment of the industry, so I don't want to misstate that, or you get it, because we know what takes place in Expedite and we know the size of the facilities and the functions that we utilize in Expedite. But I also want to make sure that y'all know that everybody in the community is getting to participate based upon the buying power and the things that's been put together for the whole group, for the whole community. We have been blessed with the community, and the community started in Expedite. This group has been on the cutting edge. Y'all have been. Don't lose sight of that. Don't misunderstand or lose the fact that we are grateful and thankful and plan to continue to do those things. As you look at us to ES today, we have several segments that y'all are probably aware of in several different branded companies. So Expediter Management Services, I look across the room, there's independent contract drivers, owner-operators, and fleet owners. And I know there's people sitting in here that are good operators, and they choose to handle themselves in certain ways. We've had some that started driving a truck and now own trucks, 70, 80 trucks, and we're thankful they've got a lot of their team members here tonight, and we are grateful and thankful for those. We're grateful and thankful for the individuals that start and decide that's what they want to do. But I will tell you that as you come into our community, you will experience and see different things that we do, and Jason's going to dive into some of those things here in a few moments. But we do have insurance services. We do have equipment finance. We do have truck sales. We do have our management services for the owner-operator program, and then we wrap some things up with some advantages that we bring to the marketplace, and you'll see a slide with that sooner. So at this time, I want to ask Jason to come up to give some thoughts and views. Now, when I named this The View, he said, "Man, you're not doing me right. You're not treating me right. I don't want that name." And I said, "Too late, we've already got the slide made." So, but y'all welcome Jason Williams, the president and one of the co-founders of our company.
Thank you. I told him The View was a panel of 5 women, not one man. And so didn't know how I was going to get started with that. What I would like to do with you, though, is rather than trying to present something to you, is just talk to you. You know, it's been such a long year and a long 18 months that some of it is just, you got a group of 200 people in a room together. That's pretty phenomenal all by itself. And the fact that we've been able to get together and the industry's moving forward and the courage it took for Monty and his team to go ahead and plan this thing and put it together before anybody knew could you even have it. And so just extremely grateful for everybody showing up here and supporting this, not just this event, but like Jeff said, the entire effort. It's expediting is not very large. Those of you who are in it know that. A lot of times, you know, even now, 20 years, you know, you can talk about going to the Expedite Expo and a guy on a tractor say, "Well, what is that? What is expediting? You know, or y'all those little trucks, you know, what do you haul?" And we still go meet with motor carriers who don't understand what expediting is, and you have to explain to them what expediting is. So this industry's got to brand itself. It has to continue to move forward. It needs to educate the industry that is a great opportunity to start a business. It is a great opportunity for people coming out of schools and trying to get their feet into the industry and then grow a successful effort inside this industry, which is a part of trucking. And as much as any part of this industry, expediting has a phenomenal opportunity for people. So we appreciate all that they do to help do that. The last time I was at a show was 2018. And so I didn't get to come to the one here in 2019. It was in Lexington. And so it's been a while since I've been able to get out and just meet people and really shake hands and talk. So I'm very appreciative of getting to do that and that all of you people have showed up and are supporting this. I was talking to Patrick tonight with one of the fleet owners here, or today I guess, and he made a comment that it feels like after the last several months, you know, the people you've come through this year with, it's almost like you've come through war together. I don't know that it's that extent. I've never been in war. I don't know that it's quite that far. But it does certainly feel like you've got a sort of a band of brothers or a brotherhood or sisterhood that's come together in order to get through it. And lots of conversation, Monty, you know, lots of support that it took to get through it, emotional, mental, spiritual, whatever it took just to get through and be able to, you know, get the last 18 months behind everybody and still operate a business. And that's really what we want to share with you guys tonight, is that we have tried to develop a community that can weather the peaks and valleys of expediting, of trucking in general, but also of just the national economy and the global economy as we get moved around and bounced around with that. It's one of the things that we've done when I look back and as we try to track the progression of the company is 2019, for those in trucking, you know that was a terrible freight year. I mean, 2019 was an off year anyway. Everybody was expecting things to start coming back in 2020. It started to the beginning, fourth quarter of 2019, first part of 2020, things started moving. And then all of a sudden, COVID hits and there's, you know, 40, 50% cuts in freight, national economy, business shutting down. And obviously we've all lived that cycle. But one of the things we decided to do inside of our company was that we were not going to take the year off. We were going to invest and make sure that our community developed. And when we talk about our community, it's not just the company that we directly run, but it's also our vendor networks, it's our motor carriers that we work with, it's all the marketing that we do. Make sure that that community continued to stay viable, that it did not shrink. We had, like they've talked about, contract drivers, owner-operators, fleet owners who depended upon us helping set that stage to have a viable business when this thing turned. And so we continue to invest into that. To be honest, most of the profits coming out of the company went back and reinvested into the company in 2020, most of 2019. We were trying to make sure we grew out infrastructure needed. And as you think about whether or not you want to be a part of our community, I just want to get you a feel for all of the services that you have access to inside of our community, the infrastructure, just the hard cost it takes to operate a business, whatever those things are. You have services needed. Those services take real effort to put together services that you need coming in and out, whether or not that's shop, tire shop, things of that nature to make sure you're taken care of out on the road, to make sure you have the access to run your business 24/7. We have roadside assistant programs. All of that takes infrastructure, and it takes services that you have to negotiate out. And as the community has grown, we've been able to constantly build upon that success that you guys are having in order to make sure that we continue to grow those efforts. The products, some of the things that Jeff mentioned, this ES Advantage. So we've had some new products, whether it be insurance products, fuel shop tire programs. Those vendors, are not here tonight, but whether it be a Love's, a TA Petro, some of the Ambest, different vendors who came together to say, hey, look, we'll work with your guys and make sure that we're driving discounts and profits through to them. And they've done that. We've been able to put together a pretty phenomenal offering on that. And then financial offerings. So for those of you in trucking, anytime trucking goes through a cycle, you wind up having, when things pick up, the banks go away. And then they don't really come back until after things have been good for a while. And now you're getting started on the backside of another cycle, and those are difficult. So we really invested hard into making sure that we had the ability, as this thing turned, to make sure that the people in our community had financial opportunities to either upgrade, to either continue to buy if they were moving from a driver to a first-time buyer, or grow their fleet. And those financial packages that had to be put together to do that. So those are all big ticket items that for the last 18 months, we have really focused in on to make sure that we were ready for this time when the economy did open back up, that we as a community could move forward. And for those who are new tonight, as we've talked to you today, these are the ideas that we've tried to share with you. What does ES do? It does a lot of things. What it really tries to do is make sure you have the opportunity to do what you want to do. That whatever that is, that we have the resources, the people, the services, the products, the infrastructure to let you leverage our investments, this community's investments, to grow your opportunity. And it's real, and we have a lot of success stories in here tonight that could share with you that it is real. I would want to key on one thing, and we're starting to see this now. As we're coming out of these cycles, and freight is opening, everybody out there running, freight's crazy, rates are through the roof, and those kind of things. But it's hard to find, and everyone in here knows, it's very difficult to find a good operator. It's hard to find a good owner-operator. It's hard to find good drivers. I want to tell you guys, don't forget it's also hard to find good motor carriers. You'd be surprised when we moved out of expediting, which is a very niche market, and we started going into general trucking. I would say we met with probably 5 of the top 10 largest public motor carriers in the country. And there was only one could we do business with, because the greed level, and I'll just be honest, the greed level, how greedy they were in their contracts, how aggressive they were in their contracts, how much profits they scrubbed out of the truck. It was shocking to go into that environment and say, oh my goodness, no wonder their turnover is 120% a year. They just will not let the truck operate profitably. I can tell you in expediting, we have several good motor carriers who will let you operate profitably. It is a good place, a good environment, good community to start and operate a business. We hope we add to that. We work hard to add to that, to make sure that the things the motor carrier cannot do. We don't sell freight, we don't dispatch freight, we don't broker freight. We try to do all those other things that they cannot do for an independent contractor. We try to negotiate on your behalf to make sure you have the discounts, platforms in place to run your business profitably. And then if you need us to go to bat for you on something, we try to take that conversation and take it to a motor carrier. And even Panther, again, they're here tonight. We have a great relationship with them, but they know and we know we're here to represent the truck. Now, we're blessed that they're a good motor carrier, but in those conversations, we're representing the truck, they're representing the motor carrier, and we come to terms, and it works good for everybody. So just remember, in these times when freight is so good, and you're chasing freight, and you're chasing rates, and you're chasing miles, if you're at a good motor carrier, protect them. Make sure they have the capacity they need. If you're running capacity at a motor carrier, aggressively support that motor carrier. We're having a lot of calls right now from those that we support because their customers, if you have capacity today, you can start a motor carrier. You can go get your own MC number, and on this peak season, you can be in business. The problem is where's your freight coming from 18 months from now? What are your rates 18 months from now? And that's not to say people shouldn't do the very best they can on every market. I'm simply saying if you're at a good motor carrier, don't take them for granted. It's hard to find. We've gone out there and spent years trying to find good motor carriers, and it's just very difficult to find them. So we do want to be very thankful for the ones we have. It's guys, we appreciate all that y'all have done here tonight as far as coming in and supporting us. We hope you learn who we are. We do want to just have conversations with you over the next 2 days, let you touch us, get to know us. Hopefully there's something we can do for you. It's COVID, so maybe we don't touch you. The lady in the front's laughing at me. Maybe we don't. Maybe we fist bump. Maybe we don't. I'll mask up. But anyway, so she's gotten tickled. But we do hope you get to feel the industry out and just get to know what a good opportunity it is in trucking. And we're asked that all the time. Greg likes to ask when he interviews, is it a good time to start a business? And what's unique about trucking is that we find that the good operators, it's always a good time for them. If they're good operators and they run their business clean and they know how to drive profits, not just chase revenue or just chase a load, then they are profitable in good times and bad times. Maybe not as much as they want in the down cycles, but they're still profitable. Trucking is a good industry. It really is. It's a good industry to take a risk on. And there's an even playing field. With Ellen, one of the things we've learned with Ellen being here is that I think Jeff came up with an ad that said there's no glass ceiling in this truck. Nobody cares. It's will you provide a service? Will you come out and treat people respectfully? Will you take care of business? And if you do that, the opportunities level across coast to coast. And that's a huge positive about our industry. While we might lag in some things, and Ellen would say, we need to get more women into the industry, and that's true. As new businesses are starting, I think we've got a 150 truck challenge with Ellen. We're up to 120, 130. Having started women-owned businesses with an effort with Ellen and Panther and Ford Air. And so it's taken us about 3 years to get that done, but they've been successful. We don't find that anybody's trying to hold anybody back. It is, can you run a clean business? And we're here to help you do that. And we hope you get to know us and come to believe that. You may choose that you don't want to work with us, and that is fine. We just hope you at least believe that we're giving you an honest effort and that we'll do what we can to support you. And we're focused on your success. It's the only way we're successful. So we want to thank you guys.
Thank you, Jason, for the update on that. And I just want to talk, as you heard and seen some things, and you might say, well, we're not getting really down into the weeds and getting down into the details. So I'm going to share a few things with that, and then if Jason wants to add something to it later, we'll be glad to do it. And but you've seen where we started, you've seen where we are, you've seen some views and thoughts of what's taking place and why we're doing some things. I just want to make sure everybody understands in this room that nobody in here works for us. I want y'all to feel and understand and know that we as a company work for you. We respect you, we honor you, and we believe in you. And the things that we're doing is to try to help make people be more successful. We don't take the credit for your hard work. I can tell you we do not. Without the people in this room, we would not have the community that we have today. A lot of the thoughts and a lot of the services that we've been able to put together have not been isolated thoughts, nor have they been segmented services. They've been input. We'll have somebody come and say, do you think about this? Can you do that? Can you help us here? What about this way? What about that way? And as Monty said earlier, that you have the conversations. And so when you start having conversations, the requests get made, and then when requests get made, we say we want to please those people. Because it is better to give than it is to receive. Now, we are a for-profit company, just like most everyone in here. I'm looking around, and I don't know any nonprofits except Ellen. Excuse me, one. But even nonprofits have to have support, right, Ellen? And nonprofits getting supported by for-profit companies. So all I can say is that most people in here have to have revenue and income to generate the things that they do. And so the things that we've put together is not stuff that we set up and just thought of. It is questions and requests that gets presented to us, frankly, by the people in this room and the people that's represented by the people in this room. And so we want to make sure that you understand our view of that. We feel that we work for you. You don't work for us. And we want to make sure y'all fully understand that. We are grateful and thankful, and we've been blessed with those things. But why ES Community? One thing is never stand alone. Jason was talking, he was talking to Patrick or Eric or one of them, they was talking about coming through the war. Well, you know, it's difficult if you go through something by yourself. We all know that. It says if a man's walking and he falls down by himself and there's not no one with him, who's going to help pick him up? That's man or woman. I'm just using that as a thing. We know that one can do something, two can do something else, but a threefold cord is not easily broken. We understand that concept as well. It's a universal truth. And so when you look at those things and you say, well, what good is the community? And why do you have a community? Well, one thing is to never stand alone. So we can help be successful, help each other be successful. If you want to be first, you be last. You put others before you. So we say, what can we do? What can our company do to benefit each person that we come in contact with? Are there things that can take place? Are there services that we can render, that we can put together to help the community grow? It's a community of support. We all need support. You go through things. Jason we'll talk about it at times. He likes to watch that blacksmith, and he even bought one of those forges, but it's forged in fire. And when you go through things, what don't burn you up and kill you makes you stronger, right? So the people in here, we've lost people. It's sad. And hopefully we don't lose many more or limited numbers. But I will tell you that as we go through these things and as the community in Expedite continues to move forward, we have the opportunity to be stronger than ever before. I really do believe that. It's a wonderful opportunity before. We're not trying to sell you a truck. We're trying to get you to buy into the concept and see what's going on of each other. So there are competitors in here. When you say competitors, it's one person's trying to get a load, another person's trying to get a load, one person's trying to sell a truck, another person's trying to sell a truck. But we're all working for the common, which is to help each other be successful in our community. It has been brought together so you got buying groups and buying power, and everybody in here gets to participate. So all for one and one for all. And I know y'all saying, Jeff, you're throwing a lot of little slogans around, and I'm not trying to be Three Musketeers. But what I am trying to tell you is that when you look at this thing, there are things that benefit one that benefits the many. And there's things that benefit the many that benefits the one. So we have been able, because of y'all's request, because of y'all's desire, because of y'all's need, we've been able to put together things that drive profits directly to the truck. And what we would consider those things is unrivaled advantages. I think there's other people that do good things. So we're not up here thinking we're better than anybody, nor do we think that we're the only ones that can do certain things. But I can tell you that we're not a perfect company and we're not perfect people. But our intentions and our agenda is to help you. I can tell you that. I want you to sincerely understand that that's what our intentions and our agenda is. And we've been able to put together some advantages that each person can utilize and participate with. And so one of those things you'll start seeing, I think all the shirts, if you got them in your bag, when you got sizes, whatever came in, you got the thing that says unrivaled advantages. On the back it says success in trucking. And so we put together things by request that people needed to try to help. If you're an owner-operator or a fleet owner looking to reduce your cost, we've been able to put together some things to try to help you do that. If you're an independent contract driver and you're wanting to become an owner-operator, we want to help you and you can participate in these same things. If you're an independent contract driver and you don't want to become an owner-operator, thank you. There's nothing wrong with that. You understand what I'm saying? Each person needs to be where they are and be happy and be content where they are. I'm not talking about your income, your revenue you're making. I'm talking about your career choices. There's nothing wrong with any of those segments. You're all valued. We've got not just equipment that we have. Look around. I know we got fleet owners in this room that represents hundreds of trucks. Hundreds, maybe several hundreds of trucks that are represented in this room by trucks that we don't own and didn't even finance. It's running under our umbrella at a motor carrier because we're not a motor carrier, and they're doing it because they want to have access to these benefits, these advantages. So fuel, we have the broadest, deepest fuel discount in the industry, bar none. It's factual. We can prove it. Tires, we have national account tire pricing that individuals can participate in. Insurance, we're a low-cost provider for premium coverage. You've got to have it though, right? I don't know anybody in here that can be fully self-insured. Nobody. There's not a person in this room can say I can fully self-insure on everything that I could be liable for. Not one of us. Shop, we have national account pricing structures to pass along to one truck or multiple trucks, the cost structure. Legal services, TVC's here. They can help you if you get something on your CDL. Protect your CDL. Protect it. Safety training. Ooh, safety training. Who wants safety training? I can tell you that we all need safety training, right? We do need it because it's either it will help you in preventative and aware. You pay attention to what you're aware of. And that's for the people in our community, that's paid for, right, Jason? It's part of the program. You're not charged for that. Truck sales, we got Stoops. If you want a new truck, we've got used trucks. And we can help facilitate new trucks. And with truck sales, most people, some of you maybe can pay cash, and that's fine. But I would tell you, if you're here and you can pay cash for trucks, you ought to leverage that into multiple trucks and not pay cash for one and buy multiple trucks. To turn your investment, the same dollar amount of investment, spread your investment out. We've got truck sales, we've got financing. And we look at and want to help people to finance equipment. We want to do it. So under our program, and those numbers are real. We can add them up and show you. We've run these. You can look at the average gallons used for a straight truck or a tractor, solo or a team. You can come up with what the insurance costs are based on our multipliers and all those things that are brought in there, any savings. And that's not counting if you're buying a set of tires or anything. That's just straight fuel and insurance and some R&M costs are figured in there. $10,000 to $15,000. And you're saying a range, and it depends on solo team, miles you're running, type of equipment, but per truck per year, savings, by utilizing the advantages that this community's put together. And I know there's people in here that, and I'm glad you're here, that's not running at one of the motor carriers that's partners with us. And I'm not here to talk or say anything about any other motor carrier that you're dealing with if they're not part of our community. All I can say as a business owner, and whether you're a driver, owner, operator, or fleet owner, you're a business owner. Every one of you, because you're independent contractors and you have to run and operate your own business. And I would challenge each of you to make sure you're doing the best you can for you and your families. And the way you do that is try to increase your revenue and decrease your expenses. And in trucking, pennies count. And pennies make dollars. And I would tell you that you need to have your eye on the ball. You need to be watching it. So if you're at a location, go to them and get them. Talk to them about it. You should be getting all the fuel discounts passed along to you. It shouldn't be marketed to a different way. I'm paying this or paying that. I'm telling you, anything that's not transparent to you, there's a reason. Where there is confusion, there's profits to be made, and they're not your profits. They're yours, but you're not getting them. You're giving them away. And you're saying, well, Jeff, you're being pretty adamant and pretty direct about this topic. And the reason is because education and visibility help you do better. And everybody in here deserves to do better for themselves and for their families and for their community. So please do yourself a favor. Make sure whatever you're doing, wherever you're operating, the way you're doing it is you're making sure that you're taking advantage of the opportunities that you have before you. Life's short, gang. We probably all know that too well. I would doubt there's anybody in this room that has not been touched by a loss of a friend or a loved one in the last 24 months. You at least know somebody that's lost. And this is not a political statement. This is not politics. This is trucking, right? We're here trying to make a living. We're here trying to help each other. We're here trying to do things to the benefit of individuals and to the community. So I'm not trying to make a political statement. I'm really not. I pray for the president and the country regardless of who's in office because we need that to take place. We all need a healthy, viable country We all need that, but we all need to do our part. And you should do your part for your individual family. This is not a political agenda. But what I will tell you is you need to be paying attention to what you're doing. So those are the ways that we can do this. So why should you join us? Because we don't want you to stand alone. Why should you join us? Because we really want to do things to benefit you. Why should you join us? Because we're asking you to. We need you to. We want you to. I want no one under the sound of my voice to leave this meeting tonight to not understand that we want you to be with us and not understand that we'll do the best that we can do to bring services, benefits, and advantages to help benefit you and your family and the community. Please do not leave here knowing you are wanted and you are needed. You are wanted and you are needed. Please understand, you are wanted and you are needed. And you will be treated with kindness and respect. I'm telling you, the motor carriers that we have in this room and in our program, and I know there's always people. Motor carriers are made up of people, right? And they're human too. They have good days and bad days, and I'm not defending them. But people in the truck have good days and bad days too, right? And I can't defend that all the time as well either. It rains on the just and the unjust. Sometimes things are happy, sometimes things are sad. But what I can tell you is that you need to put to the best you can, and you need to treat people the way you want to be treated. And I'm not up here trying to give a sermon on treating people right. What I am trying to tell you is that it's a view of the community. It's the way that this community wants to function and operate. And the people in here have decided that's the way they would like to operate. Life's tough, and trucking's tough, and expediting's tough. It's tough now. It's not easy. I'm telling you, it is hard. It's a very difficult industry, but it's a good industry with good people, the salt of the earth people. My father was a truck driver. He drove a tractor, drove flatbeds across the country, went through the Teamster strike in the 70s. I came from farmers and truckers, where my people come from, with gumbo between our toes. I can tell you that. And if you don't know what gumbo is, come to Arkansas and Mississippi Delta and we'll let you get a little dose of gumbo. And I don't mean the kind you eat, not seafood gumbo either. But what I will tell you is that we are appreciative of the opportunity to service you. We are. We want to put you first. We're not a missionary, but we are on a mission. And our mission is to help you be successful in trucking.